Good day, everyone. This is day 17 of the 28-day challenge that some of us here at the Ontario Gorean Assembly have been doing throughout the month of February. Today what I'd like to share with you is just a little bit about a personal story about my first collaring. Back in 1980, I was just a wee boy, basically 18 years of age, and had been seeing a girl for over a year. She came from London, Ontario. A beautiful thing, and we'd been reading the Gore books together. We were both enjoying them immensely, and we decided that we wanted to start incorporating in our relationship the master-slave dynamics. So we had started doing that around our friends, a little bit timid at first. We took our time getting into it just to find out how the reaction of our friends would be, but they seemed pretty cool about it. And so we started coming up with some of the protocols. And one of the first protocols actually that I ever had is that when she would come up and spend the evening and stay overnight, is that I would have her in the natty position on the bed before we went to sleep. And that was a big thing with me. One of the other things as well is that we incorporated relatively fast was something that is very personal to me. I find it to be very intimate, is towel service, and the fact that we would shower together, and then she would get out before me, and she would end up grabbing a towel and kneeling before me and holding the towel up to me. So even as youngsters, those things as far as protocols, demonstrative service, those things were very important to me. In April of 1980 is the hockey team that I was the goalie for, is that we went to the All-Ontario Championships. And it was the 7th game held in Lucknow, Ontario, which is my hometown. And we ended up winning the game in double overtime. And there was a lot of partying going on. The whole town basically came out. It was a phenomenal evening. Later on is that we ended up getting on the fire trucks, and we were traveling up and down the main street. And they had the fire sirens going so that the entire town knew that we had won the championships, and literally the entire town came down to the main street and ended up cheering us on as we were traveling up and down the main drag on the fire trucks. But before that, immediately after we won the championships, as the coaches came in, said a little bit of a speech, and then they went outside for a little bit, outside of the dressing room. So I ended up calling my girl in, and in front of all my hockey players, my teammates, is I had her kneel on the floor in front of me. And back then, is the hockey jersey had shoelaces that would come down here like this. And so I didn't have an actual collar. We talked about it, but I didn't actually have a collar on me. But because of that evening and how memorable and important it was, I wanted her to be a part of it. And so she was kneeling in front of me, in front of my teammates, and I ended up taking that shoelace off of my hockey jersey and ended up tying it around her neck. And at that point, I literally collared her in front of my friends. And there was a lot of high fives, a lot of hugging. She was crying. It was a very memorable and special evening for us. Next day we traveled down to Toronto, and we ended up actually purchasing an actual leather collar for her. It was a red leather collar that we ended up getting on Yonge Street. But that was my first collaring ceremony. It's very Canadiana. I was 18 years of age at the time, but it was special to both of us. It meant a lot, and I couldn't think of any better place to do it than in front of my friends and in front of my teammates, than to be able to do it with them and let them be able to share in our experience as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Again, a little bit different, but that was my first collaring. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, and we will talk to you tomorrow.